Are we going to see a new recoil pattern within Rust Console in 2024? Should the FOV be changed or add a different FOV to the one that we have right now when it comes to aiming in on a weapon and aiming out? And as well, will community server owners be able to spawn NPCs like you can on, let's say, UKN on PC, where you can just practice hip firing, headshots from a distance, anything like that, to make your aim that much better? These people are all the things I'm going to be covering within this video that I've asked Pedro Silva, the community manager, if you didn't know, of 11, who run and created Rust Console Edition. So how this video is going to work is I've asked 3 questions, and after the question and after Pedro's response to that question, I'm then going to input my opinions to his answer or response, and then I'll go on to the other questions and do the same thing. Question 1 to Pedro Silva was this: so whilst you've touched upon a future anti-cheat, and until that time comes when Rust Console gets one, will we see a recoil change or recoil adjustment this year in 2024? And to clarify, Pedro says, so to answer your questions to the best of my knowledge, he responds saying this: I don't think there will be any recoil adjustment / PC recoil being added to console this year. This needs to be part of a bigger discussion, as it's something that splits the community a lot. Personally, I'm not totally against an easier recoil if that's what the players really want, but I don't think the more hardcore and OG players should suffer with that decision from my perspective. The right solution needs to accommodate everyone as much as possible, and my suggestions to the team will always be based on that. It's kind of sad that, you know, Facepunch didn't really take that into consideration when changing the recoil for Rust PC. But let's just dissect what Pedro has said just there. So to his knowledge, there will be no recoil adjustments or PC recoil being added to console, such as, you know, the weapon changes of the AK, custom SMG, MP5, etc. And yes, it needs to be a bigger discussion with the community as a whole. Like 11 would need to post this on their social medias and website to inform everyone, is this something that people want changed, or is it something that people, you know, still want within the game with its current recoil pattern? He also says he's not totally against an easier recoil, and I'm going to go into that real quick. The challenge to control the recoil was one of the main things as to why I really loved the game, apart from the survival aspect. Being able to control the recoil, having bragging rights, and being acclaimed the better player to your opposition is something that just entices people to play Rust in general. And I would love for the recoil to stay how it is. I think it's fine. However, again, I'm not opposed to having an easier recoil if an anti-cheat does not come anytime soon. There's no point having the same recoil if we're not going to be getting an anti-cheat, in my opinion, because there's just a big skill gap, or there's a big gap in general to where people and devices are better than legit players. Plain and simple, I don't care how good you are. You know, I've seen really good players on legit go up against mouse and keyboard players and they've struggled a hell of a lot. So yes, I would like the normal recoil that we have right now to stay, but if we're getting no anti-cheat, there is no point. And I did see a comment in my community post, I think it was, or the previous video that I've just done, talking about saying, why are you talking about an anti-cheat when Pedro's told you that there's going to be an anti-cheat coming? Well, for one, number one, I don't know when it's going to come. Like, we could be talking a year, 2, 3 years from now, and the game will be in a different state to what it is now, especially with players and how they play. It's only going to get worse if you think about it when it comes to people cheating, because if nothing's getting done about it, you already know the drill is just going to keep on getting worse later down the line. And this isn't something that's, you know, put out to the public that D11 are working on an anti-cheat. They said like months, I think even last year, that they're working on something, but there's no update apart from that. You know, even an update at the bottom of the dev blog saying we're still currently working on an anti-cheat and gathering data, whilst they don't want people that are cheating to feed it back to the creators of scripts so they can bypass it. I understand that, but because of the dying breed of legit players that are either succumbing to buying a device or just leaving the game as a whole, I think it's their right to know if there's going to be an anti-cheat being worked on. I wouldn't specifically say there should be a date per se, but to say that you're working on one, I think is beneficial for those players in that community that are still playing legit. However, if there's no, you know, anti-cheat anytime soon, I'm very much open to an easier recoil. Sure, it's probably going to kill PvP and the quote-unquote comp scene, which in my opinion is just in the mud. There's not been a comp scene for quite a long time now. And I also respect, you know, the more hardcore and OG players that still play the game, you know, shouldn't have to relearn the recoil. but then again, not really many people brag about Recoil anymore because the state that it's in, so an easier Recoil wouldn't really change much. Anyways, I'm waffling on. Let's go to question 2. Question 2 was the aim in FOV. Although I think you've covered the FOV in the past, which I have, it would be higher than what we currently have, so we can just appreciate and look at no stock weapons. Could there be an adjustment where you aim in? I'll supply 2 images for this, one looking at Red Tower, which was taken in 2022, and the other with the gold camo AK in 2024. Would D11 result in going back to old adjustments like the zoomed out FOV and aiming in like we had in 2022? Or has the feedback been positive about the change where you're trying to match PC? And I'll show those images on screen for you now. So one with the gold AK was taken literally yesterday during a event raid, or not even yesterday, 2 days ago now, where it's so much more zoomed in than it used to be, and I really preferred the zoomed out FOV and how, although it looked like most people was then because the holo wouldn't bounce or move as much, I just really liked how PvP looked in 2022. Pedro responded saying this is down to personal preference, right? I can't say I've seen a lot of people feedbacking about it, which normally means that they are happy with what we currently have. Our objective with it is to match PC, but if players want/need something different, we are always open to suggestions. Now, as much as I can put forward what I like and dislike about the game, ultimately it's a community at the end of the day. So if it's just me saying, I think this should change or that should change, if there's an overhaul of people saying that, everything's fine, it should keep how it is, then you're going to go with the majority. Naturally, you're not going to go with a content creator or just one player. So whatever you think needs changing, guys, you need to leave a comment down below. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you agree with my opinions, or do you agree with Pedro that it doesn't need changing? This sort of stuff you need to put in the comments and let it be known. This is a space where hopefully, Pedro has said to me before that he watches the videos, so if you comment saying what you think needs to be done, and there's a vast majority of you, it will open their eyes to what can be better and what could be resulted in going back from later dates, such as the FOV that D11 could improve the game on. Personally, I've seen quite a few people talk about the old FOV. A lot of people talk about it within the community, but they don't note it down in the comment section. And as well, I see it's like a different community on each social media platform. YouTube is my favorite Rust Console community because there's negativity and positivity, whereas TikTok is vastly negativity, and Twitter is just a whole different ball game of community. Like, I don't even understand it. But yeah, anything you would like done within the game, leave a comment. So the third and final question I have, will community server owners be able to spawn in NPC bots so they can practice their aim like UKN on PC? This is something I've tried a while back when spawning in things. I'm pretty sure Nova would have done it already, where you spawn in a scientist so you can use that, as just a leeway to practice your aim on an actual thing rather than a flame turret. You can actually shoot, hip fire, headshot, anything of that nature onto an NPC, and it's more realistic within gameplay terms than shooting a flame turret. Pedro responded saying that's a very cool idea. Pretty sure Archon allows players to do that. Even though that option is not active yet, we do plan on having it available for everyone at some point in the near future. If this is not possible with Archon, I can pass the suggestion to the team. Now, if anyone that has tried this through Archon doesn't work, again leave a comment and I'll let Pedro know as soon as possible. This is something that needs to happen, especially for those aim training servers that want to try and replicate UKN or make it their own, where they have standard NPCs or maybe moving NPCs and you just shoot them. This would be a game changer, especially for legit players who can just get better at the game and be an overall better player. And that's all I have for you. So in summary, we're not going to be getting a new Recoil. This is something that's going to have to be within discussion to the whole community. If you do go over to Twitter or X, you do see a lot of people within the comment section saying, where's the easier Recoil, or when is an anti-cheat coming? Like, the majority of people on Twitter are literally just moaning about Rust Console just having so many cheaters, and this is the reputation the game has had, which I've spoken in a prior video. That's the reputation Rust Console is getting at the moment, and it's pretty sad to see. But yeah, the cheating problem, I feel like we've, cried out enough for something to be done. So hopefully we either get an easier Recoil or an anti-cheat. The FOV, I hope it gets changed, because especially the old PC FOV, so good, and they can change it as well. So I'm hoping we can just change our FOV at some point, because I don't really like the FOV that we have at this moment in time, but that might just be me. It's a personal preference. And then it would be nice to also have NPCs spawn in on your servers to have a bit of a target practice. I mean, you could make your own within a server and then just teleport people in there whilst others are just, playing how they want to play. It's just making that experience more unique and not like a vanilla experience, like a one-times. Because if you want a one-times experience, just go to official servers, whereas community servers is for the unique experience of high adrenaline pumping PvP or a lot of raids. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this was informative to you. And again, anyone, I just want to make it clear, I should have probably said this at the start of the video, but when I say updates, it doesn't mean these are coming to the game. I'm just updating you on the situation of things. It's not concrete, yes, it's coming to the game. It's just updating you on what's been happening, what could happen in the future, and what the state of a situation that is in now, such as Recoil or NPC spawning in. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you so much as always for the support, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.